32.5 megapixel, 4K, 60, 10-bit video with access to C-Log 3. 5-axle image stabilization. It has IBIS, no record limits. Is this camera slotted to be the ultimate content creator camera of the year? Let's talk about it. So I know for me, I have been on the search of trying to find kind of like the perfect camera for my workflow. And I've had and I own a lot of great cameras. Currently right now, my main shooter is the Canon 90D. Now, this is an aps-c size camera. The specs on this thing was so great for me and was such a great boost and upgrade for me that I opted to go specifically with this aps-c size mirrored camera because the specs on it was absolutely amazing. So I kind of made that deliberate decision to do that, to go that route. As I'm beginning to expand in my workflow and as I'm beginning to do different and take on different projects, I have realized that there are some limitations with this camera that just kind of, I just don't know where this belongs kind of in my future, particularly as a main shooter. Right now it's the main shooter because it's the best that I have in my arsenal, but I've just kind of been trying to figure out what direction to go in. And if I be honest with you, for quite some time, I was flirting with the idea of doing the unthinkable, switching to Sony cameras. I've been thinking, I just have to be honest, I had been thinking about it because the features in Sony cameras are just like, they're just, everything that you need is just there. And so I have been flirting with the idea, but the thing about Canon and the thing about kind of any camera system that you choose is that it's like Apple products, you know, like if you are invested into that ecosystem, it's just kind of hard to switch. I mean, I have Canon lenses, I have different camera bodies, and the same kind of camera systems working together, you get similar coloring. And so in post-production, when you're trying to color and put footage together from different cameras, it just helps it. So moving to the Sony system was always something that I thought about, that I flirted with, but always something that brought me a high level of anxiety, if I'm being honest with you, because I would have to kind of switch completely over. I would have to invest into that ecosystem, and this basically feels like you're starting from scratch. And I know that there are adapters and all things like that, but just thinking about moving to a Sony system stressed me all the way out. But knowing that my time here with the Canon 90D was coming to a close, I have been thinking about taking the deep dive and thinking about the Canon R7 and thinking about the camera R6, and those are full frame professional grade cameras, but the price tag is just out of this world. And I believe that if you can afford it, if you are been doing this thing for a while and you can afford the full frame camera with all of the bells and whistles on it, because your cash flow and your budget warrants this purchase, by all means go for it. But I don't think that I'm there yet. So looking at the Canon R5 or the Canon R6 was something that I was aspiring to do and trying to figure out if I was able to get my hands on those, and trying to figure out how to justify that purchase. But currently right now, where I am in my creative entrepreneurship, I just don't think that I'm there yet. So the announcement of the Canon R7 is exciting because it gives you pro features in a camera body that is more obtainable for people that are kind of like mid-level in their kind of like career. And so I'm truly excited, and I think that I am settled on the fact that I am interested in getting my hands on the Canon R7 because I think is the next step up that I need, but within a price point that makes better sense for my workflow. If I had the money, I would jump on this right away because I think it's time to upgrade the Canon 90D. This would be, it's still an amazing camera. This is the best camera that I've ever owned in my life, to be quite honest. This camera has been good to me, but I think it's time to upgrade to the Canon R7 system. This will become the honorable B camera. I think this is still faithful and true, even though it's a mirrored camera, it's still bomb. The features of this camera is bomb. The images that you get out of this camera is bomb, and I absolutely love this camera, but I need to figure out how to get my hands on a Canon R7. What do I need to sell? What do I need to do to get this camera in my life? Because I think that this is amazing. Some of the features that I struggled with the Canon 90D, as I started on taking different projects, I started doing more long form content. Like during the height of the pandemic, I was recording sermons for my church. And so me and my pastor would had to have all sorts of signals to let him know that the camera was about to shut off. So we needed to figure out how to cut the sermon, stop it, so that I can press record again. Now that's absolutely ridiculous. And then I'm also thinking about doing a video podcast. And how do you do a video podcast when you have a 30-minute time limit? So the time limit was really getting to me. And then also I started doing more videography, and so not having image stabilization made your videos look a little jinky. So all of the things that I had concerns about with the Canon 90D, even though this is still an amazing camera, all of the issues that I had with the Canon 90D seems like in the Canon R7 is really worked itself out. So I'm so excited about the Canon R7. I think it is a proper fit in the next step for me. Now, the difference between the aps-c size camera and a full-size camera, I have been working with crop sensor cameras for so long that I have learned how to work around the 1.6 times crop factor with this camera. Technology has advanced so much that crop sensor cameras and full frame cameras, the gap is really closing in on itself, and the performance that you can get out of a crop sensor camera is really comparable to a full-size sensor. So I'm not too concerned that it's an aps-c size sensor. I think it still will work well in my particular workflow and ecosystem. I'm more excited about the pro features that is coming out in a camera that is affordable to most people. So I'm really excited about that. Pray for your girl that I'm able to get this camera. I want to get this camera as soon as possible. I wonder, is anyone out there paying attention to what's going on with the R7? Are you as excited as I am for this camera? Comment below. I want to know if it's just me. Am I crazy? Am I bugging? Is anyone else excited about this camera? Is anyone else trying to get their hands on it? So let's have a dialogue in the comment section. But until next time, I hope and I pray to see you soon.